Benvenido, benvenida, welcome. And so we're gonna get on into the topic, you guys, today. But I want to show you these earrings, and this is a line from Tabitha Brown. And my outfit today is from my sister. And I also want to thank everyone for the compliments that you guys give me on my clothing. I appreciate that. Hey YouTube, hey Instagram, hey Facebook, and I'll show you the full dress. It is so beautiful. Cotton, has pockets. Sister sent this to me from Minneapolis, and I want to acknowledge her. She's responsible for that. My sister Kiki in Minnesota. She doesn't have a business. She just supports me on the show, and it makes things so much easier to open up a box and say, hey, I'm gonna put this on Thursday. So I wanted to give homage to her and thank her for taking care of me in this way. I don't think she has any idea what she does for me. And you guys check me out also on my Instagram. It's Jacqueline Strictly Business. That is JACQUELINE, Strictly Business. So I wanted to give a shout out to my sister to let her know. She has no idea. She keeps me in the most prettiest garments. I'm so grateful. I just wanted to let her know you are appreciated. I always like to share my stories with you guys because I speak and teach from experience. How one thing can lead to a generation of things. Now, my mom ended up in foster care because the lady who conceived her didn't want her after 4. So she ended up in foster care. And after she ended up in foster care, we ended up projects, low income, whatever you want to call it. Because a lot of times back in the day, that was just totally not cool. Now you have a baby out of wedlock, or if you have a baby when you're a teen. So she left the town where the man was, where she conceived it, and she moved to another way across the country. And so my mom never got a chance to deal with that. We seen her in pain about her mom, but we never she never dealt with that. She never went and got any help with that. And so she was so busy focusing on survival, because she didn't have any, just like in the world, wandering around by herself, like really, like totally, literally. So that caused us to end up, like I said, in low income. And how do we break this chain? I also work with an organization that helps teenage moms. So this is still real. This is still real. I know when I was coming up, that was my mom's generation, where they were just trying to give you away. They had to move away. It was just a big ordeal. And then my generation, a lot of times my friends got put out, It's just because in our generation, when it happened, I think our moms and stuff, they wanted more for us because we were already in low income. They wanted more for us. And so they would be just upset. So what do we do about this? And see, now in this generation, what I'm starting to see is people spoil the teenage parents. What do you guys think about that? We just spoke about 3 generations. On mom's mom, her mom just gave her away, which was really popular back then. What are your opinions on this? Has anybody had a baby at a young age? And what advice would you give to somebody right now who may come home and shock the whole family? And I'm 15, 16, and I'm expecting a baby, because sometimes they wait to the last minute to say anything, so there's a baby on the way. What do we do now? We got to talk about this, because we need to break the chain of, okay, it's done. Now what do we do? I'm going to talk about this from a financial perspective. Things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You can talk to your kids about the birds and the bees until their head pop off. It just takes that one moment, that one single moment, that can change everything, change your finances, change everything, because of 2 young people who did something. Now look, they back on their cell phone. And now know that they're walking away with a person inside of them, So, what would you say to your boy if it was a boy and he told you, Mom, I got a young lady pregnant? What would you say to your daughter? Would you just be like, okay, I just need you to finish school Just finish school. I just need you to finish school. Finish school, have the baby, finish school, and I'll help you. And what does help mean? Does that mean that they get to still be a teenager and go to everything while you take care of the baby? That's one scenario, and there's nothing wrong with any of this. I want to hear from you guys. Are you going to have them get a job? Will they have to work now? Now we're going to have a baby. I'm going to help you, but you got to get a job. Are you going to say, you got to get up out of here? I don't want to be bothered with no extra kids. I'm 45, 50 years old, and I'm ready to start my life, and I don't feel like changing no Pampers. I raised you. I don't want to be bothered with this. That's 3 things that we can do. The baby public assistance. That's the 4th thing that we can do. Say, hey, just have the baby. We'll do the best we can. There's nothing wrong with that. I talk about how my mom needed it, and she got $697 for 4 children. I don't know what it is right now, what the government gives for 1 child. Does anybody know? I know back then it was $697 for 4 children. Now let's just say hypothetically it's $500. Right? Let's just say you get $500. You're going to take the route where you're going to say, you have the baby, we'll get some public assistance, and it's $500. So 5 times 12, what is that? Is that 500 times 12? That would be $7,000, I think. There's not a lot of things that you can do. You can get a fast food job. Which one of those 4 or 5 would you do? Now there's another solution to this. You know, we've already explained the birds and the bees, but let's sit down and talk to them again and say, this is the situation. What are we going to do? Get their opinion. What do you like to do? And they're going to be kind of thrown off like, I just got somebody pregnant. I'm pregnant. After you are able to do this, because that's some interesting news, and it might take you a minute to digest that. After you digest it, because a lot of times we're so upset. We're the leader. This is still a huge deal. Like I said, I work with kids, and sometimes they end up in the system with their baby. I had friends who had babies at 15, 16. They're phenomenal people. And I used to be so disturbed when they would say things like, I made a mistake. Human life is not a mistake. It's never a mistake. We don't have control over life, even though we try. It was a whole show. I don't know if it's still on or not. They were teenagers and they would be having babies, and they made a whole show about it. And I remember seeing a glimpse of it. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, hey, is that good? Our teenagers are going to try to get pregnant just to get on that show? So we're not glamorizing anything about becoming a teenager and having a baby. Has anybody seen that show? And I was thinking like, well, maybe they'll see how hard it is and they'll say, no, I don't want to do that. It could be both, right? Let's take a whole different route. And they say, well, I really want to do hair. He says, I really wanted to start my lawn business. Guess what? If we decide to have the baby here, you're going to stay here, you have to help me. Get them excited about starting the business and not depending 100% on any organization, not just the government, any organization. Because we don't want them to think that, we can bring babies in the world and we don't have to have no responsibility. My mom, the government's going to help me. This was easy peasy. Sole proprietor, the LLC, we start the business for them. We get the business going. Then we hire them. Yep, you got to work. You got to come and work at this business because you're going to grow up fast now. You have a baby. We're not going to make this glamorous where we're buying all of this stuff for them and the baby, and we giving these big, crazy, fun, happy showers that's costing us thousands of dollars, and they're like, okay, if I have a baby, I get this. I'm not talking about our children. I'm telling you what I've learned. 17-year-olds who already have 3 and 4 babies. Now, start this business, have your children work in the business. You can write off up to the standard deduction. So the $7,000 that they were going to get from public assistance, welfare, whatever you want to call it, the standard deduction is more. 2022, $12,950. So you see the difference from sitting at home and collecting a check, and you get to deduct that. and help your child and show them how to be independent. Walk them through the whole process. Give them a real job in the business. Maybe they do the paperwork. They're good at that social media stuff. Putting social media on calendar. There's all kind of apps where you can make content and you put it on the app. You just put it in a date. Say you want it on Easter, you want it on this, you want it, it'll all play for you. You could be on vacation, all of this stuff will play for you. Give them that job. They know that social media inside out. A lot of people don't understand that taxes are not to beat you down in the ground and keep you in poverty. They use that word a lot. But you got to think outside the box. This has already happened. They're already pregnant. Or you can let them get a job. Legitimately having a business is registered. You're doing it the right way. You're not cutting any corners. You're documenting every single thing. You're keeping up with all your books. You're using some type of software. You're making it happen. Your children are actually hired by you. They're involved in the business. You're giving them responsibility. And now guess what? They're going to be able to teach your grandchildren this. They say you give a man a fish, he can eat for a day. You teach him how to fish, he can eat for a lifetime. I love you. Till next time.